Hello everybody, this is Startup Bright and we're here to talk all things startups related. I'm glad to introduce Casio today. I've known Casio for a couple of months and he will introduce his company here. Casio, I met with your co-founder earlier, right? Casper, and he had time to introduce your company and talk a little bit about your idea, but I want to hear it from you because my understanding is that you started the whole thing. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about what your company is building, why you want to build it. If you have a formal pitch, you can go with that as well.
Sure, of course. First, just wanted to thank you, Nick, for taking the time to do this interview with me.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Yes, it's my pleasure as well. So AlphaBiz. AlphaBiz Commerce is an online marketplace that buys and sells small businesses. It has data analytics for the buyer, and there's a built-in referral network for the buyer to choose services. The referral network will be made up of professionals providing services like accounting, legal, insurance, construction, etc.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there are other companies that offer something similar. How do you distinguish yourself? How do you distinguish AlphaBiz from the rest of the crowd?
So we believe the data analytics is what sets us apart. If you look at our competitors' websites, the search results are linear, they're frozen. Once you press search, there's no way to interact with the search results in terms of data analytics. Our search results, we're going to have three different types: Street View, Map View, and Data Table. And with the Data Table, the search results, once you press search, it's the beginning of your interaction. You can repopulate the data. It's dynamic. The search results changes based on a data point or a metric, such as commercial rent, the traffic map of shopping centers, population density, average income, crime rate, etc.
I see. So you will be offering more dynamic and interactive way for people to find businesses if they're interested to buy a business.
Correct. That is what sets us apart. It allows a buyer to compare two or more businesses in terms of site selection analysis, right? Our competitors, their pricing model is such that if you pay extra money, a premium, your business will be placed in a higher search result. And we don't have that pricing model, right? So our model, the search results, they stand on their own.
Okay. You started kind of talking about this. What is your business model? How are you going to make money off of your website?
So we're going to monetize for the listing, okay? We're going to make money off of the referral network. We'll make money off of the data analytics.
So it is a subscription model, right?
Right.
So people can list their property or business rather on your website, and then you make money off of professional services that may be required for that specific business, right? And referring also other businesses to the new business owner.
Right. There are multiple avenue streams here. You make money off the listing. You make money off of the referral network subscriptions. You can make money off of data analytics, advanced data analytics, providing notifications.
I bet data analytics is going to be a huge revenue stream once you gather enough information. people will be more interested to understand the demographics and the way people interact with your website and how they decide on purchasing a business and all that stuff. How did you come up with this idea?
So I woke up one day, Nick, and I decided to do a startup.
Okay.
And subconsciously, in the back of my mind, I knew and I realized that I can think of a website for everything except for a small business. You know, for example, cars. There's cars.com, Cars Direct. There's about 7 different sites.
Yeah.
Pet food. There's pets.com, et cetera, Petco. But I couldn't think of a website to buy and sell small businesses. So in one sense, there's a huge opportunity because the average consumer, there is no brand recognition for the average consumer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much everybody is just looking out for information. They're not necessarily anymore subscribed to a specific brand and be there just for that brand because they like what they offer, or the competition is so high, nowadays for any product that people relatively easy switch between company to company based on features and being more flexible or comfortable using, right? So for small businesses, do you have a profile of specific small businesses, type of small businesses, or you aim to serve wider audience of businesses?
So we want to make money off of volume, right? Okay. There is no small business that we're going to feature or select, highlight more than others. Okay, it's pretty much anything in the strip mall has been the phrase that we've been using. So right, it's all inclusive.
I see, and my understanding is that you are now looking for investment, right? I saw you at Kodu Startups. You pitched 1 or 2 times, and I see you at these events. Obviously, you're looking for the right investor, I suppose, to help you guys build the technology and find customers. What are you looking into a potential investor?
So we've decided to make an earnest effort to grow the business ourselves without seeking external funding for 3 to 6 months. Okay. In the alternative, the minimum funding that we're looking for is $1.5 million for about 1 year runway. Mm-hmm. And this would allow us to pay for sales staff, developers, marketing, etc. But we realize that the type of business that AlphaBiz is, it's large in scope and size. We need to start off with a little bit more funding than the average startup.
Yeah, so do you have a plan? How are you going to use this investment? Are you going to be using that for salaries, for marketing, for salespeople to buy, build your sales force? How do you have plans on how you're going to use this funding?
We are looking to pay a reasonable salary to about 5 employees, mm-hmm. sales guys, and we want to do business the old-fashioned way by reaching out to individuals, going to events, Chamber of Commerce events, business networking events. By growing the referral network, the theory is that we will in turn grow the marketplace. There's a synergistic relationship between the referral network and the marketplace, and we're going to concentrate on both. We may be able to use MLS data. We may be able to partner with strategic business groups, etc. Yeah, that's our go-to-market strategy. But about funding, right? We need to pay for employees. We need to pay for development, about $100,000 in development, et cetera.
I see. So, what stage is your product at the moment? Do you have the website? Are you building the website?
We are very close to launching for beta testing. And once beta testing begins, we will be able to get listings for businesses onto the website, as well as build and grow the referral network. The data analytics will come in the months afterwards.
Why did you include the referral network in your go-to-market strategy?
The idea is that the referral network will help build the marketplace, and the marketplace will help build the referral network. You have buyers and sellers in the marketplace seeking services from the referral network, and you have professionals, accountants, lawyers, insurance agents, etc., that have a vested interest in building the marketplace. So we look at it as a synergistic idea, a force. The referral network is like a force multiplier for the marketplace.
I see. And can you talk a little bit about your team? Who is on your team? Why do you feel that you and your team are the right people to build this marketplace?
Right. So on the one hand, I hear investors asking, is there a subject matter expert on your team? On the other hand, I hear that innovation that disrupts an industry, it comes from outside the industry. So to answer that, our team, right? We have Lance Winslow, who is an expert on franchise law. I believe he's bought and sold over 200 businesses in over 20 states in approximately 4 different countries. So he has a tremendous amount of experience in buying and selling businesses, every aspect of buying and selling a business. And
how did you meet him?
Through the community, the tech community in Ventura.
Oh, interesting. You had the idea before you met him, or you met him and then the idea kind of grew about building this website in this marketplace to sell and buy businesses, small businesses?
I had the idea before I met Lance.
I see.
But when I told Lance the idea, he immediately recognized the value that this would bring to franchisors and franchisees. He's telling me that when he was heavily buying and selling and involved in franchising, he would do the data analytics all on his own separately. He would take a look at the map and he would try to figure out the population density of an area, et cetera. And site selection analysis is very important for any business, right? What we haven't talked about are the problems that I'm trying to solve. Okay, and there are about 5 problems that I'm trying to solve.
Okay.
One is the location of the business is not immediately disclosed on the website. 2 is the buyers waste a lot of time in the buying and selling process in searching for a business. The 3rd problem is that information about the business is not reliable or missing. The 4th problem is that the listings of businesses are sometimes fake. Commercial brokers will put up a listing for a business to sell, but in reality they don't exist. They redirect you to a different business. It is a way to obtain a list of potential buyers.
I see.
It's a marketing funnel. The fifth problem is costs. We're living in a world where data analytics for site selection analysis, data analytics companies will charge $25,000 a year as the base. Yeah. We're also living in a world where it costs about $1,000 a year for a commercial broker to list a space for commercial leasing. Mm-hmm. Just looking at costs alone, I believe that there's room for disruption.
Yeah, definitely. I am not into that industry. I don't understand the needs of that industry or that market segment, but all what you said makes sense. And I know that if I look, for example, for websites to buy and sell, there are few marketplaces for websites that are somewhat reasonable and have good reputation, but there are many places where you never know what's going to happen, and I understand the need for a good, reliable, and with high reputation place where people can go in and be comfortable searching for businesses or even bidding for businesses and sharing information and looking for information. One thing that you mentioned was that a lot of the real information is hidden behind some sort of a firewall, either payment or login information, and then you never know where that information goes, right? So I see the need of a place where people can browse and make search of and kind of understand their needs, right? Because you may be thinking about buying a business or starting in specific area, but not be 100% sure what is available and what exactly you want to do, right? So a place where you can search and you can compare businesses and then read some analytics about these businesses would be of high value. That is my take. I don't know if this is real need, but I know that you've spent enough time understanding and looking into this business, and I'm pretty sure you have tackled down the 5 problems that you just described.
Right. Generally speaking, I talked to an individual who runs a meetup group for real estate tech. Uh-huh. And his experience, he's a home builder, he's a real estate broker, but over 20, 40 years experience in real estate industry. And his personal experience with commercial leasing, the broker just shows you the space. They don't provide data analytics related to the space. But we are living in a world that wants data. We're a data-centric society, right? Data analytics is a long-term trend. It's growing.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your software development efforts and who's building the website. Is your team here onshore or using offshore resources? How do you approach this? Because I know a lot of software based companies and startups are having hard time figuring out how to find developers, how to build teams, and how to get that first product. And you said that you're already close to deploying and making public your beta version. So I'm interested to know how did you find your team and how did you manage to create that? Because it's a real problem. Like in LA, it's not very easy to find developers that would join a team and probably just work for equity and little pay. So how did you approach this problem?
Right. So I have had trouble finding the right technology developer. And I managed to find Argy through Kodo startups, right? What I found was that speaking to investors, venture capitalists that have been, that are involved in the tech space helps in finding and connecting with the right technology person.
Yeah, so obviously you need connections. You need to go to all these events and talk to people, right? Is Kodo Startups is one of the events that I go to, and we met at Kodo Startups, right? And myself find it very valuable because it gives me exposure to startups, to people with more experience, even other developers, investors. How do you how hard do you find approaching investors? Is it easy to approach an investor, or you find yourself more of a kind of having hard time to just go and introduce yourself to an investor?
So this is a difficult question to answer, right? I've talked to what feels like hundreds of investors, but it's finding the right one that's in the right space, that is looking to invest at the stage that your company is in. Yeah. And that's the challenge.
And this is exactly the problem. What you just said was, you find the person that is willing to invest money in your idea, but also has the experience in the area that you're building your application or your business in. Because just finding the money is not enough, right? You can, if you find the money, but only that, you're lacking the connections to in the industry, or connection to customers, supply chain, and all that stuff. So you're absolutely right. Like, when you approach an investor, the question is bigger than just money. Question is, do you find yourself working with that person in the next 3-5 years at least, right? And also what else this person can bring to the table, not just the actual amount being invested in your company, right?
Right. In some ways, I think it's better to be selective about which type of investor that you choose, especially your lead investor, your first investor. An incredible amount of time has to be put into finding the right person. They have to know your space. They have to be willing to invest in the stage where your company is in. And you have to look at their background, their resources, etc. It is a long-term strategic partnership, so the entrepreneur has to be very selective.
Yeah, yeah. So what are your plans? Like, from this point, what do you plan to do?
So once beta testing begins, we will load the site with businesses and try to build the referral network. We'll try to grow the business internally for the next 3 to 6 months. During that time, data analytics will be incorporated into the website. And as we get closer to the finished product, by then we should have a good number of businesses in Southern California and a couple of hundred professionals, and ready for funding on our terms. Right?
Okay, sounds really good. I hope to get you again on Startup Bright in 3 months, let's say, and see how you've developed, what you have achieved. And I want to thank you very much for being on Startup Bright, and wish you good luck.
Yes.
Thank you, Casio.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks.